Welcome back, Fatties, to the Phat Chat, where the pH is as toxic as the cries of a newborn baby. I'm your host, Joshua, joined by Chon, and it's just going to be two of us today, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
okay. You know, we like talking with one another, don't we, baby?
Oh yes, we do. We gonna talk for hours. Just kidding. We'll
five,
limit it
five to be
to
exact.
No, I think we should just limit it to
We-
our standard. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like,
just about.
yeah, they might get tired of us.
Two guys, two mics. Don't get confused. So we have here on the Phat Chat. Your interests are our interests usually, and right now we're holding a topic raffle. We are selecting 10 winners, and out of those 10 winners, five of you guys will be able to you'll be able to get on a live show with us. So make sure you respond to those polls because that's the main way to enter. On today's episode, we'll be talking about history's most notorious villains and pop culture with a nice toxic twist on the current news about Britney Spears. So let's go ahead and dive into the toxicity of the Phat Chat with history's most notorious villains. So with those, we did do a poll on IG, not really a poll, questionnaire on people's opinions on history's worlds or the world's. Man, what the heck am I trying to say right now? History's most notorious villains. There you go.
I'm like, are you okay?
I know I'm
You good?
stroking out over here, dude.
Yeah.
And so history's most notorious villains. And Keisha Love Fave 21 underscore Fave 21 says Putin, Kim Jong Un, and John Wayne Gacy. So I think those are some valid people
Yeah.
as far as like villains and stuff. Especially for, I mean, we already know what Putin's doing over there in Russia.
Yeah.
But have you heard the news recently on Kim Jong Un and his empire over there?
I haven't. He's Kim Jong Un is like somewhere in Mexico, right?
No.
Just kidding. No, but I legit always get it confused with like it's North Korea, right?
Yeah, North Korea. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 No. So what? I haven't heard any of the news. What's going on
Dude,
right
so
now?
apparently he is starting to show. I don't know if it's like a way, like maybe a cry for like a public cry for help or what, but apparently, he went before his like constituents, like all his people, and were telling them like the devastating effects of COVID, that it's having on his economy, on his people, the death toll on his people because of COVID. But just not that, it's also the sanctions that have been brought on by other countries and the U.S. sanctions. So, and a lot of people don't know how sanctions work. Is that if you're an
Yeah.
ally of the country that's placing sanctions on that country, you have to follow basically like it's in your treaty or whatever that you have to follow the role of whatever that country's doing. So the U.S. put a bunch of sanctions on North Korea, and now there's no trade in North Korea. I think the only ones that are trading with them are Russia and China and other like allies. But even though they say, I think Russia came out saying that they're not trading with North Korea, but
Yeah.
but yeah, so it's pretty crazy what COVID is doing. And you know how like the North Korea, they're a very close knit like or like very closed off from the world type country.
Yeah. Yeah. They're their own
Yeah, they're their own thing. So
little
it's like
segregation.
for them to actually say no, like or like to actually come out and put this out there in the media, that's kind of scary, dude, because now I mean, that's who knows if they're just putting it lightly, on all that stuff. Who knows if like there's actually more stuff going on than what they're saying and what they're letting out. But yeah, I don't know if that's just like a public cry for help, or whatnot. But that's the world, dude. Can't
Yeah.
do nothing about it.
No. And I just kind of think about like, hey, you know what? Like I feel like you got yourself there, man. That's kind
Yeah.
of like it's kind of what comes
Like
with it.
what can you do, man? Like you
Yeah.
wanted to test weapons, you know what I mean? Like there's no
Yeah.
obviously the Phat Chat, we're not political here, but like that's
It's
what
interesting
he
topic.
did.
Yeah. Yeah.
You go against the world, you say I'm gonna do what I want, and then it's just like personal friendships, right? It's like I'm gonna do what I
Yeah.
want. I don't care what no one has to say, and then when you reach out for a hand, there's no one there to help because you burned all your
Mhm.
bridges. Like,
Exactly. Dude, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, exactly.
so
I couldn't think of a better illustration. There you go.
I know.
Friendships, just, you're killing them.
And John
I'm gonna
Wayne
call you.
Gacy, have you heard of that guy?
I actually, I haven't. I have
No,
not.
he's he well not he's a but he was a serial killer, and let me see here. gonna have the Fat Chat's gonna have some Twitter fingers today. But he was what's it called? Yeah, he was a serial killer. He died in '94.
Hmm.
But yeah, he had, I think he killed like upwards of 30 girls. Let me see. I think it was like 30 or 33. Um, yeah, I think 30 were proven. 30 were proven of being like strangled,
Oh
choked out,
man,
all that stuff. But dude, he had all those women in, well, 26 of them. He had all those women stuffed in his house, like in the
what?
walls, in the floorboards. Yeah, dude, like they were all in
That's
his
crazy.
house. So he was a serial killer, and he was caught, thankfully, caught. But
Yeah, I know, right?
because I've been watching Criminal Minds lately,
Hmm.
Criminal Minds, and watching stuff like Mindhunter, just seeing how the FBI profiles and can like catch on to these people. Have you seen those shows?
Mindhunter, I have taken a glance at Mindhunter. That was actually one I was talking about because it really gives you like an insider like what is going on in their head. You know what I mean? Because they are interviewing these serial killers, like, and it was interesting because it really gives you a different perspective, and you're outside looking in, and you're like, man, there is something really wrong with these people. Something's wrong. But it's crazy, they do have, obviously they have an issue because they're serial killers, but there's also a lot deeper meaning. There's something rooted behind the reasoning why they're doing stuff, and it's crazy. And it's usually like issues like with parents, and their upbringing as kids, and it all stems, doesn't make it okay, but it all comes from, usually for the most part, their upbringing, which was really interesting when I watched the show The Mindhunters. I know they go into certain. There's quite a few that they actually go into. I can't remember all the serial killers right now, but they go to the prisons and they interview them before they get executed if they're on death row and all that.
Yeah, because
But
this one is the Mindhunter is basically like start of the analysis unit, a behavioral
yeah,
analysis unit
yeah,
over in the FBI, like the beginnings. And it was actually really cool because the show itself is based off of a book, but those books hold real accounts, I guess, of these
yeah.
people. And like Marilyn Manson was even uh what's it called? Interviewed by them,
Hmm.
to try and understand them. But what's crazy is that some of these guys, when they're asked about their childhood, they're just like, no, it was normal. Like normal. Mom and dad had a job, went, and like I just liked killing people. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what the heck? How are these people? Like, how do they even turn like that? Like they were like coming from a normal home, even. You know what I mean? They're just like, yeah. One day I
Hmm.
walked by a bird, I saw it was dead, and I was like, wow. Like I wonder what a human looks like that. Like I.
Yeah, it's weird, man. And there was one, I don't know who it was, but man, I can't remember exactly. Man, I wish I could remember it. But it was one of the serial killers I would always be looking for his like mom's approval, right?
Oh, you're talking about you're talking about
Um,
Psycho?
is it Psycho?
Yeah, I mean it was fictional. It was made by
Yeah.
Albert Hitchcock. It's the one where
Hmm.
he I mean obviously he kills his mom, but I think it was by accident. He killed his mom. And then it was they owned the hotel, right? Norman Bates. You talking about Norman
Well, no,
Bates?
no, I'm not talking about Norman Bates.
Oh,
No, this is
oh, so
like
this is like real life something.
yeah, a real life serial killer. Yeah, but I don't remember. Dang, I'm gonna have to look it up. Let me find out. Let me search it right now because I'm like,
Well,
yeah, but the things he would do was just like for the approval
was his mom
of
already
his
gone
of his
though?
mom. Yeah, he killed her.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
See, so it's a real life psycho, literally real life
yeah,
psycho. Oh my goodness. Dude. Well, you look for that guy. We can go
yeah.
into Inky Pop and I know a guy. They both agree with Thanos. All right, people. We're gonna have some fictional villains up in here, but they have a twist on some real life ones. But Inky Pop adds the lady who left me a 90-cent tip on a $90 bill. That's the real villain. That's it right there.
Hmm.
So you should have given better service. Erica T says no.
Dang, I was like, whoa. Well, alrighty then.
Erica
I guess I
T.
won't. I guess I do not want Inky Pop as a server. Was she a server? Oh, she didn't say.
I don't know, bro. Just as a 90 cent tip on a $90 bill. Goodness, she must work for that amazing big booming company chain that Cisco
Hmm.
works for. So you
Yeah,
know,
maybe.
Erica T says Trump. Yeah, I don't know. We're not political here, so
I mean, hey, he gave me money.
yeah,
I'm happy with.
he gave me money. The presidents are issuing dead presidents right now, so I think I think they're okay in our book. No, Mylan Rell says Madara Uchicha, which I think that's a what's it called, anime character from Naruto. I think that's the villain, like the major villain, in one of like the arc series, something like that. Caesar Salad 29 says Big Chungus. Do you know who that is, dude?
That's just that rabbit, right? Or no, it's a bunny.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's the
big chunk.
it's the fat Bugs Bunny, basically. Like
Yeah,
they took Bugs Bunny and blew
yeah.
him up. Have you seen the YouTube video of the song where it's like the big chungus, the big chungus? That, have you seen that one?
I've seen it.
Oh,
Yes, I
dude, it's
have.
so hilarious, man. When I read that, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to put this on here. So we have that. You want to take the rest of them?
Yeah, so we're under Caesar Salad by Big Chungus. And then so space underscore explorer underscore 18 says, my boy Shevs.
Sheeves. Sheeves. I'm
She
pretty sure he's referring to Sheeves Palpatine, to Emperor Palpatine over in the
oh,
Star
so we're
Wars
talking
universe. Yeah,
talking we're talking fictional then.
yeah. I think, yeah, we're talking fictional. If I'm right, unless he's talking about his boy Sheeves from around the corner, then I'm not sure. But that's the only thing I can make a connection to, is that he's talking about Palpatine.
Yeah, I mean, let's go with that.
Yeah,
That
we'll
sounds
go
good,
we'll go with
right?
that.
Yeah.
Which I agree with that. I agree. Palpatine
Mhm.
in that fictional world. I don't know if you were to go across universes, right, or across galaxies. I'm fairly certain Palpatine um would be on the top 5 villains, like everywhere. You know,
Yeah,
it's
I
like
think so too.
it's
I'll tell you what though, I was Googling and there are some what Google and Wikipedia and all these other platforms state the world's most notorious villains. I mean, a lot of them I didn't go into any of them about the fictional, from movies,
mm,
but a lot of them talked about serial killers and then some people way back in like 44 that they started testing chemical weapons. Yeah, in 44 in Asian countries, and I forget the name. It was something like ish something. I don't know,
I'm talking about
but
like the like mustard gas and stuff.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like, and it was all the way back in 44, and surprisingly, who we're going to be talking about in a little bit, he wasn't on any of the list, but he's one of the ones that were more talked about, that a lot of people talk about more, but it was interesting to see. I wish I would have. I didn't have time to write them all down, but there was just so many. But that there's a lot of people, a lot of like notorious villains out there in history that don't get talked about, which is crazy because there's a lot of people out there that have done some
Oh yeah, because I
crazy
think
stuff.
it's more.
Yeah.
I think it's more just like public villains
Hmm.
than
Yeah.
anything. Like who's gonna get the press, right? And it's like if they're not in the press, or if they're not noticeable that way, then they're not gonna really be
Hmm.
noticed.
Yeah. That social media, right? We'll get
Mm-hmm.
into that. I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, we'll get into that later too, guys. So, all right. So the good and underscore insane says Genghis Khan and Swiper the Fox.
I think Swiper the Fox is from Dora, isn't it?
It
Dora the
is. He is.
Explorer.
Yeah, you know what? Swiper the Fox, he wants everything you got. Like
Hey, you know
you
what?
have yeah.
That's the modern day Ariana Grande, right? And it's like, you got it, I want it. You got it,
Oh my
I
God, get
want.
out of here. Okay. You have to be her biggest fan, dude. I'm serious. Like
I'm just
all
saying,
you ever
bro. I'm
what?
just saying.
Like
Imagine Ariana going out there with Swiper blindfold and stuff. Be
oh
like, you
God.
got it, I want it.
Mm-mm.
You got it,
You
I want it.
you've literally mentioned Ariana or Ariana Grande, however you want to say
Yeah,
it.
however you want to
I
say it.
think I think you've mentioned her every single episode for the
You
last
know what?
four episodes.
We'll have to go back and
Yeah.
re-listen and see if I have. Because if I have, then that means we got to tag her 20 million times,
Yeah.
make sure she sees, and then she's just
Hmm.
gonna like leave some obnoxious comment on our
Yeah.
on our story,
Yeah.
something like that.
Something about cereal. I don't know.
So,
Oh, yes. You said obnoxious. Like you're not gonna make no sense. But oh man, yeah. I was gonna say something about Swiper the Fox, but you know what? Let's keep going. Live love underscore or three says Darla from Nemo.
that dude,
Yeah.
she is a serial killer. She's killed so many fish of the
Hmm.
Australian sea current. It's not even funny.
Oh, Darla's the one with the glasses and the bracelet. That's like,
And she's like, "Wake up,
yeah,
fishy!
yeah, yeah.
Wake up,
Wake up.
fishy!" Yeah, nah,
Yeah,
dude.
she's. I want to get in her mind, Mindhunter Darla
See,
version.
why the heck does she do this? Like, we need
Yeah,
to know the root cause.
there's something there
It's
going
the
on, right?
braces. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now that I mentioned Mindhunter, I want to kind of go back to what I was talking about. The first one, Edmund Kemper, right?
Oh yes, dude, the guy
Yes,
with the
yes,
the shoe fetish.
yes, 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 yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's crazy because I'm just gonna read it right here from Screen Rant. It said Ed Kemper is an interesting character in its own right. It says, and it seems that Ed Kemper that we see on the show is pretty close match to the real life Kemper. He actually was, which is kind of crazy. It
dude.
says most of the people who interacted with him said that he was a very intelligent, polite, honest, and open individual that didn't seem to square up with all of the horrific crimes that he had committed. Which kind of makes me think, people can come off, I mean, he was intelligent, when they were
Right.
going through the interview, he was on it, he was bright, but there's just something there, man, that
He
just
was, but he was so fine with just snapping somebody's neck. I think he even
yeah.
said in one of his interviews, he was saying like how he would just talk to women and then he would just out of nowhere just think your neck looks like a bird, and like how easy it could be to snap that. And I was so out of my mind, just in shock, or maybe just like so caught off guard. Like what makes somebody think that? What makes somebody literally look at someone and they're just like, I could kill you. I
Honest,
don't know.
I mean, there's obviously something lacking in their mind, or there's something that's not. Um, there's some wires that aren't connected right. It could be like a. I just think genetically, biologically, there's some kind of chromosome. There's something missing. There's something that is lacking there. There's a part of their brain that doesn't that separates that emotion. That what would be the right word for that? Not the care,
Like
the
empathy,
humanity. Yeah,
sympathy.
yeah, the empathy, sympathy. Yeah, and I mean, that can all tie into humanity,
Yeah.
because shoot, I mean, I don't feel bad killing like spiders and roaches or anything
Yeah,
like
you don't
that,
have any
but I
remorse
mean,
for that.
yeah, but I mean, anything that comes like to a mouse or even a gopher, dude, I feel bad, dude, man.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, and I can't even ever imagine a cat or even a person. So it's just like there's definitely something that is completely wrong with someone who can just be like, oh, I can, I can do this. I can just, you
Yep.
know, get rid of someone like that. But
And you know what
yeah,
too is that, like, to go along with what you're saying, that didn't, like, I've always felt that, like, even for pests and
mm,
rodents, but it didn't grow in me more so until I had a kid. Like, I don't know, like, just seeing, like, there was this one video of like this family of possums, dude,
mm,
inside this car. They took it over to the mechanic shop. The mechanic shop found the rodents as they were trying to work on the car, and so they were
mm,
just like trying to get it. This baby, like the baby possum, was trying to escape and trying to crawl back to its mom, and they hit
yeah.
it with a breaker bar, like to
Oh
knock it down into
no.
the trash. And I felt
Uh-huh.
horrible, dude. I
Oh
felt horrible. I
no.
was like, dude, like I understand it's a rodent. I was like,
Yeah.
come on, dude, like it's crawling back to his mom, like trying to get
Yeah.
protected. And so the rest of them crawled back up into the car, and they I don't know how it ended or how they even got the babies out, but I don't know, like that stuff bothers me more now,
Yeah.
after having a kid.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a kid. Well, but I mean, I have a
You
puppy.
have your
Well, he's not
puppy.
a puppy. I have my puppy
You're one of
Winston.
them. You're one of
Yeah.
them
So
now.
I am. You have the cat women out there. Now I'm the dog dad.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
gotta get I gotta get myself a dog dad hat and everything.
Dude, that'd be perfect. Dog dad hat,
I
dog
know.
dad
Yeah.
shirt. Gosh, wear
Exactly.
wear what's it called? A matching tag, a matching dog tags.
Hey, you're calling me an animal?
No, no, no. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wink.
I'm down. Let's do it.
Wink.
I'm down. No, but yeah, no. I mean, quick little story. I'm cleaning out my pool for the summer, right? And my dog, for some reason, French bulldogs, they love the water, but they cannot swim. With for the most part, it's like that with every bulldog. They're too heavy, they're too muscular, they can't, and they're short snouts. They can't
Like they're
keep it
too
above
solid,
water.
right?
Yeah, they're too solid. And he literally just jumped into the pool, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I literally ran. I said, get him! And I almost jumped in the pool myself. First of all, he's expensive. Second of all, he's my pet. Third of all, if he drowned, that's a lot of money down the drain. And I'm like, I care for the dog, right? But no, as soon as I just snapped it, I was like, get over here. And he swam, luckily, and he caught his way to the
Well,
steps.
because
And I'm
he's
just
still a
like,
puppy, right?
great.
So he's not
Yeah,
like full on, like that solid mass yet,
yeah, yeah.
right?
So I think he's like 15 pounds. He's gonna get to 18 to 20.
Oh
So
yeah,
yeah, and he's still not even there yet. So I
yeah.
was like, man, now I got to teach him how to swim in the area. I'm gonna get him a life jacket because that's the only way they can be in the pool for extended amount of time.
No
So
way,
yeah, dude, I'll post pictures for the on the Phat Chat for
dude. That'd
everybody.
be
You guys,
hilarious. That'd be so
yeah,
cute. That'd be super
yeah,
cute.
dude, I'll post it after, but so they can see it. It's a shark one. It has a shark fin in the back.
Oh my
So
goodness,
yeah,
dude.
yeah. So he'll be swimming, have a little shark. It's
I'll
gonna be
get one for
awesome.
Joshua. That way they can match.
They'll be matching.
Yeah, they'll be
Yes, exactly.
matching.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I'm kind of going off track here. But so I mean, I just think about my dog. The same thing. I would be, oh man, at least like for the little animals, just smoke them out. Just set
Yeah,
them aside, let them do their thing.
yeah.
Um, so on the last one, obvious one that many people said, and one that we'll be talking about, Hitler. So
Hitler for
yeah.
sure.
And you know what? I do want to say there is one that I thought of that not very many people mentioned or thought of. Um, the devil.
Yep.
You know, I
Yep.
was I was waiting for it. I was waiting for
I,
someone to
w-
say
I
it.
really was waiting for somebody
Yeah,
to say like
yeah,
Satan like that, and I was
yes.
gonna be like, yeah, that's a I can agree with
hmm
that 100%.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, seriously. I mean, we didn't even go into it. You say
Yep.
in the devil, and boom, you're like, yep,
It's
that's
like,
so
yeah,
true.
that's it.
Yeah,
Mic drop.
yeah,
We're done. Have a great day.
done.
This is the
Yeah,
Fat Chat.
signing out. Just kidding, we're not. All right. So, Josh, I know about Hitler, but I know definitely you. I think you've done some studies about Hitler before,
Yeah.
as
So
a case study.
yeah, so it's really interesting to really go into not necessarily. I mean, you don't even have to go into the mind of Hitler just to see his accomplishments. So, and first and foremost, to everybody who's listening, it's not to be misconstrued. It's not to be confused about the situation. Hitler is not a good person ever. He's never been a good person. This is just it. He's an amazing case study. Okay, he's a case study,
Yeah.
and the things that he's done, both positive and negative, it's just you have to take away those things because of how great of a leader he was to his
hmm
people. So, and you'll see right now because according to his accomplishments, he was the only German leader to unite the German and Austrian people behind him. He didn't need the favor of the Nazi Party. A lot of people confuse that. He didn't need the Nazi Party. The Nazi Party needed him because of his
hmm
popularity with the people, and it ran deeper than the Nazi Party. So the people completely trusted him until the bitter end. So
Yeah.
like that, that's the kind of power that this person had. Was he was able to have the people die for him, do whatever he wanted, and it's like we were talking about serial killers, right? It's just like those the cult leaders, right? How people can literally, how they can literally do whatever that was asked of them,
Yeah.
and they'll do it.
Yeah.
So there was that about him, but he was also an amazing speaker. Even though many of his clips of him speaking are him yelling and waving his hands, the formats of his speech or speeches and the modulation that he used, it drew the people towards him. So he wasn't like just always so rah 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 rah.
Yeah.
Everything was formulated. He would get loud when he needed to inspire the people, and then he would actually lower down his tone to give people like a sense of empathy, right?
hmm
And then also he made three solid promises to the people. One, it was jobs. Unemployment virtually disappeared. I mean, obviously mainly because the military. Everybody had a job. here's a gun, you have a job.
Mm-hmm.
And then two was prosperity and new institutions. So in 1937, VW was founded and controlled by the Nazi Party. So VW is actually termed the people's car for a lot of people who don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this was a new institution that gave people an affordable car to transport them to all the new jobs in the booming economy. The third thing is German prestige. Simply put, it was to put Germany back on top, which he did. Germany in the 30s had unparalleled success of any modern society. And mind you, this is right after the entire global crash, right? The stock market
Yeah.
fails, everybody around the world is hurting, but yet Germany just like at the snap of a finger comes back up top. So they had unparalleled success of any modern society. It's said that if Hitler died in 1938, he'd have gone down in history as the greatest statesman in German history. And the crazy thing is, his economic achievements and success, it all came without war. It all came without spilling a drop of
Yeah.
blood. Like, that's crazy. And what's it called? He created the most feared and arguably the most powerful country in Europe and the world at that time. Now, what's crazy, a lot of people don't know this too, is that what thwarted his victory was the resistance in Britain under Churchill, but Japan giving the US a reason to enter the war. So even though Hitler was fighting a two-front war, Britain and the Soviet Union, he was nearly close to winning the war until the US and other allied powers got involved. So according to historians, there's no doubt that without US involvement, Europe would have fell and been ruled by Hitler. So imagine that kind of power. You're basically like 26v1. Like that,
Mm-hmm.
it's not 2v1, 3v1. It's 26 versus 1, and no
Yeah.
one could stop him. That's the kind of power that he created, with all the money that he piled up for Germany and to bring them back on top.
Yeah.
Which goes back, those are that person's achievements. But think about this, everyone who's listening.
Yeah.
Again, this person is by no means a great person. He's an amazing case study. And some of the qualities he had, if used for good, could actually make the world a better place. So, what is he responsible for? He's responsible for the deaths of 75 million people. And the sad part is that only roughly 20 million of that are military personnel.
Yeah.
So, he murdered millions in the camps. Age, religion, sex, and creed, it didn't matter. And it's a simple statement that Hitler is mankind's greatest villain. Like, that's
Yeah.
just,
Definitely.
he's definitely in the top there.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. And like you said, it's crazy. You likened him to the serial killers that can gain a following.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, like you mentioned, people would follow him to the end. You know what I mean? And it wasn't necessarily, and it could have been, his speeches, the way it could have been it could have been fear, not all of them, but he had that following behind him. And it's kind of, it's interesting. If people go into like why they followed him, it would be cool. And I don't know if any of your case studies you've seen or heard necessarily about anybody who's written about why they had followed him. Have you heard anything like that or read anything about that?
No, I
Um,
haven't, but that would actually be something interesting to look into.
yeah,
But at the same
yeah,
time, I don't think there's really anybody alive now. And even
yeah.
if there were, I don't think anyone would really want to admit that they were for the Nazi Party or the reasons why they did what they did. Because what I have heard is that the people who lived next to the concentration camps, like for example
Hmm.
Auschwitz, right? One of
Yeah,
the main concentration camps of most deaths. They said they would smell the they'd smell the stench, they'd see the
yeah,
ash, and they would just turn a blind eye. They would
yeah.
they would basically tell themselves lies to get through it because
Hmm.
that's how much that's how much confidence, trust, loyalty they had to this man, was to literally lie to themselves to keep on living. So that way they can, keep going about their lives and not worry about what the consequences would be. So I don't think anything would be truthful. You know what I mean? If someone was to be interviewed, they'd probably lie
Hmm.
about it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, definitely, I don't think anybody wanted to be like, oh yeah, Back in the
Yeah,
day, I followed him. You know, like
back in the
I
day, I
doubt
ate
it.
sausages when he told me to eat sausage. I liked it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I don't know. I think somebody would, if they were like alive and they were like on their deathbed, then maybe they'll kind of like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm going out. Let me kind of open up about why or how. Doesn't necessarily mean that if they used to, if someone did back then, they still follow them. But but yeah, no, it is interesting. And just kind of a side note, I like to do a lot of traveling, and I was actually, and you see pictures of when Hitler gave like his speech at, let me see, we're at the Holocaust. No, no, in the Lustgarten in Berlin. I can never say that right, but it's that big building, and it has like the two men on the horses. One's holding up a sword and all that. It's
hmm
in it's in Berlin, and it's a museum now. But it was crazy because that it's still there. And when I was traveling in Berlin, and I did think about it because he was on the very top, right? He was on the roof of the building, looking down at everybody giving his speech, and that area in front of that museum is huge. And it was me and my buddy that went, and we were like honestly sitting there thinking like, man, all this happened, and it's kind of surreal because you're in the place that all this stuff was happening. We were in Berlin. We walked the Berlin Wall, where it was, and you could see where it divided. Was it East and West? Yeah,
yeah.
East and West Berlin. And it was honestly, it just, you read about all these things, and then it kind of saddens you too, because it's like all this stuff was real, and then you see the memorials of all the people who had died, all the people he was responsible for killing. And it's sad, man. But it is, like you said, it is interesting. It is, to be able to go see, to be there at the place, because it's history.
Yeah.
And it's eye opening, and it really does. And it just even more, actually being there and experiencing that, of the exact location, it just reinforces, he was definitely a villain for sure, like
And
one of
it,
the greatest.
and what's even crazier is that when you look back at those photos and you see that not a square inch wasn't occupied by a person.
Yeah.
Like that entire area was filled with people,
Hmm.
with military personnel, civilians. And what was crazy is that and again, let me tell you guys how insane it is of how much loyalty this guy had. He was protected, sure, but he was next to people. He was next to everybody. He was a part of the party. Like that's how much loyalty this guy had, that he felt so comfortable with being in his capital while assassins and people were trying to kill him. He was fine with being out in the open,
Yeah.
like with his comrades, with his people. But what's even, like I said, just there's no empty space in any of those areas where he gave his speeches, where he talked to people, commended people. Like it was filled, and that's kind of like eerie. That's eerie because history repeats
Oh
itself,
yeah.
and it's like who knows if there's going to be another person who will use those qualities that he had, those good qualities, and misuse them again.
Yeah. Yeah, and then to hear you say, and I'm with a lot of the our fatty listeners, to hear you say, "Oh, those good qualities," it's kind of weird. You know what I mean? It's weird to say, "Oh, this person who's responsible for all this had good qualities." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I mean, it's interesting, and that's why I feel like hopefully a lot of people aren't going to be like, "Oh, they're no, definitely not for the man."
But
It
yeah, that's
just
that's what I mean. Like it's
yeah,
kind of like a head turner. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
wait a minute, how could somebody who's bad have good qualities? And
yeah,
that is the question.
yeah.
Because
That's the irony
every
of it.
yeah, that's the irony of it all, is that
Hmm.
bad people, they have good qualities. They just know how to misuse it.
Yeah.
They know how to use those good qualities to do bad things, and let things go in their favor, those situations go in their favor.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's so. If you ever, whoever's listening, if you ever get a chance to do a case study on Hitler, don't pass it up, man, because it's, especially if you do like studying minds like that. You'll be able to see just how, not how much bad you can do off of those qualities. It's just
Yeah.
it's what you can do to make a difference. Like if you were to able if you were able to copycat, and be like, wow, I could actually do some
Mhm.
good. But yeah, so that's that.
Yeah. Do you have any other ones? I mean, let's say real life or even fictional.
No,
I'm
honestly,
just trying to think.
yeah, honestly, just thinking about all of that, it was just like you. I was waiting for someone to say Satan, and then it was just Hitler
Yeah.
after that. So, but there are like, well, like you think about what's it called? I don't know, mobsters, right? Al Capone, like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
because Al Capone, a lot of people don't study him either, but
Hmm.
he was a narcissist. He was someone who I am fairly certain he had like psychotic issues, like real deep down psychotic issues. And
Yeah.
the only reason why I say that is because of just how insane he was off of a look, off of a trigger word. Like he would just kill like it wasn't even an urge at that time. It was just like if you looked at him the wrong way, like you're gone,
Yeah.
right? And one of those for Al Capone, because Al Capone is the main reason why the Irish mob doesn't exist, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
like you have
Oh yeah.
that whole massacre in Chicago, for the Irish mob. Like that took him out. I think even for the Jewish mob, Al Capone had control over, and then like even if there was a Jewish or Irish mob, like those were controlled by the Italian mafia. They
Yeah.
worked for them. It wasn't like they were independent. It was an enterprise. It still is an enterprise, but it was crazy what Al Capone did to achieve his power, over everybody. And like, just, I mean, I'm a crime person myself. I love the studying that. I in school when we would talk about true crime, it would be about like Bonanno, Joseph Bonanno, and John Gotti, and
Yeah.
all the head figures of the 70s, 80s, 90s mobs, and then obviously the golden age of the mafia. But yeah, dude, it's insane. Like that whole thing is different. Like those villains are way different
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
mass scale villains
Yeah.
throughout the world. But they still did some pretty, like you said earlier. There's a lot of people
Mhm.
who aren't named that do some really messed up stuff, and yeah, that's definitely a portion of it. Like underground and criminal world, all that stuff. Those are
Yeah.
definite villains as well.
Yeah. So I found the one that I was talking about, the Japanese guy. His name was Shiro Ishii, if I'm saying that right.
Shiro Ishii.
Shiro Ishii. Yeah, he's actually ranked number one.
What?
Under yeah, yeah. So
Was he Yakuza?
possibly.
Possibly.
So yeah, yeah. So it's the all-time worst people in history. Not necessarily. So it's under weird history. It's ranker.com. It's real historical villains, and he was actually number one. But what happened with him, he was involved in a biological warfare project, and he was put in charge of 731 research facilities, right? And let me see, find it right here. So it says that he was a microbiologist and army medical officer who served as the director of biological warfare unit of the Imperial Japanese Army. He said he led the development application of biological weapons, um, at Unit 731 at Manchukuo or whatever. But reading here, his little biography, it says that in these facilities that him and his men would perform experiments on people, on live humans, right? He said, including but not limiting to like infecting live subjects with plague rats, forced pregnancies. Uh, I don't know what vivisection is.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Oh, it says it's a surgery conducted for experimental purposes on a living organism, typically animals with central nervous system, to view internal structure. The word is more broadly used as a pejorative catch. Okay, so basically, oh man, that's terrible. Like doing surgeries on people while they're still not, while they're conscious and never to see how the body reacts to it.
What?
Yeah, and inducing frostbite and try to cure it by bludgeoning frozen limbs.
Bludgeoning? Bludgeoning?
Bludgeoning. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So this guy is definitely crazy stuff. But I thought that was it. I always like to look for the number one person when I have these lists of like 100 people. But
Jeez.
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, and then it kind of goes into, I mean, it's a list of 100 people, but men and women.
That's sad.
Yeah,
That's sad.
definitely sad.
But at least those people aren't here no more.
Exactly. Hopefully their followers are gone too.
Yeah, no, for real. Because that's the crazy part is that like there could be people out there who are just like, I'm gonna follow their work, I'm gonna do what they did,
Hmm.
blah blah blah. But that's that is definitely a
Yeah.
scary thought, um, to have that, you know, to have people out there who could possibly think like that, and you just don't know. But
Yeah. Well, Hitler got 76 on that list.
no way, no
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Dude, for being responsible of killing millions of people, but at the same time, he wasn't. Oh, that's probably why they're ranking it that way, is because
Yeah.
Hitler, sure, he was responsible for those people, but he didn't like actually have hand, in
Hmm.
doing it. While this other person, man,
Actually
he's
did it.
Japanese
Yeah.
too, huh?
Yeah.
Dude, my people are crazy. But he was at the hand, like that
Yeah.
person had a hand in doing all that stuff. So that's probably why. But even still, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a professional, so I can't. I don't know how it is to rank people like that, how they do it.
Yeah.
I
Me,
hope
me
I never
neither.
have to be in that situation of ranking people like that either.
Hopefully
I
not,
really don't.
I mean, yeah, I mean the mind is, the mind is interesting, you'll do case studies and like want to know about, what's going on with people's heads. I mean, I think the mind is super intricate, it's intriguing. I like not necessarily like a psychological aspect of it, but in general, it could be that way too. It just the capability, man, of the mind is just
It's something else.
you can't even comprehend it, to be honest.
It definitely is something else, man.
You know.
But now
Is
that
that
we
our
talk
villains for
about with
today?
huh?
Is that our villains for today?
That is our villains for today. But to talk about more villainy, I guess, real life villainy, current villainy, let's talk about our pop culture segment.
Ooh, pop culture. Hashtag free Britney.
Free
So
Britney, baby. Oops,
yeah,
I
so
did it again.
I play with your heart.
I'm more than a friend.
Okay, enough of that.
Oh, baby, baby.
Don't make me keep going.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't
I'm
do
sorry
it.
about that.
I might
It'll be
actually.
another Brooklyn Nine-Nine episode.
Yeah, exactly. So if you fatties don't know, I'll talk a little bit, and then I'll talk about what Free Britney is, and then what a court sanctioned conservatorship is, and then we'll kind of just talk about this documentary. What was the official name of the documentary, Josh? It was oh,
Um,
dang
dude,
it.
it wasn't Free Britney. It wasn't that. That's
No, no,
what the
no.
people are saying. It's
It was framing. I think it was framing
Framing
Britney
Britney.
Spears.
Yeah, Framing
Yeah.
Britney Spears.
Yes, it's from New York Times. It's on Hulu if you guys want to watch it. Um,
Which I think that's kind of like a two like a dual meaning. Like it could be framing Britney Spears, like framing her up, like as
mhm.
in framing her life, like basically summing her up in one picture. But
Yeah.
also at the same time, because of what she's going through, it could be said that she was framed in out of her freedom. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just what I think.
I like the way you think. Are you a conspiracy theorist? You sound
No,
like
no,
it.
I'm a case studier of serial killers and and the world's villains.
Oh man. All right. So fatties, if you guys are driving around and you see people if you see people with stickers, I've seen them. I've seen them on Instagram. People playing jokes on their buddies and they put like a little vinyl sticker on the windows, they hashtag free Britney all over the place on their motorcycles. So if you see it, the hashtag free Britney, it's a name for a movement of the singer supporters who want to see an end to her conservatorship. Um, so before we continue, what is a court-sanctioned conservatorship? It's a case where a judge appoints a responsible person or an organization called the conservator to care for another adult called the conservatee. It says who cannot care for himself or herself or manage his or her own finances. So in Britney Spears' case, her father, Jamie Spears, nobody knows who that is, right? He was nowhere, was appointed
Really?
as yeah, he wasn't was appointed as conservator over her very sizable estate. Definitely sizable. If
Hmm.
you include and so like I mentioned before, if you include her early stint on the Disney Channel, the all new Mickey Mouse Club, She has been working for nearly 30 years, and her current net worth is estimated around 60 million. And that's kind of what the documentary was talking about. That she doesn't have any control over any of her estate, her money. Her dad has control of that, and I think it was 12 years now. Josh, has it been? Was it 12 years?
Dude, yeah, I think 12 years now that she's
Yeah,
been conserved.
yeah. And I'm gonna so on the things that the documentary was talking about. I just wanted what really caught my attention was in the very beginning they were kind of talking about her dad, Jamie Spears, and how he wasn't really part of the family. Um, well, I don't know if I can say that, but he wasn't around much, right?
Oh yeah, first off, disclaimer, everything that we are going to be talking about in this episode, it's not from our own personal opinion. This is everything that's from the documentary, so we claim no claim to these thoughts.
Yes, it is. We are quoting.
We are
And
quoting the
yeah,
documentary,
yeah,
and anything that's said on this show cannot be held liable for us, or we're not held liable for these thoughts to be said, as they are all from the documentary by New York Times.
yeah. So, since you gave that disclaimer, I do want to say when I watched it, it was I've always liked documentaries. I really enjoy watching them because when you they sum everything up for you, and then it brings to light things that you never realized, and things that were said, things that have happened, and you're just like, and it's just like, man, it's like I don't know if it's because of they filmed it a certain way or if they wanted to, if they wanted to get empathy for people. But honestly, I seen this thing and I was like, man, that poor girl, because we'll go into it, the stuff that happened, but I mean, I won't even talk about it now. I'll just continue on my thing about
Yeah.
we'll get there. We'll get there because I'm just gonna be jumping around. I'm gonna be losing my mind. I'm gonna be all scatterbrained. So first of all, they talked about dad really wasn't in the picture, um, right? That Jamie Spears, he was kind of in and out,
Mm,
and he and I quote what they quoted that he said. He said, "My daughter gonna be so rich, she's gonna buy me a boat." So
yep.
when I hear that, I just think, and then now he's the conservator. It just seems a little odd. Okay, so now you have all this control over money. You were never around, but now it's like, oh, he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be A1 dad
Hmm.
kind of thing. So I don't know. And in that time, in the social media time aspect, there wasn't very many um, girl girl bands, girl pop bands. It was more of the boy band scene at that time.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I see why they kind of gave her a hard time on social media because she's like up and rising. She was a teenager, up and rising, and she was stumping all these boy bands, and she just getting these fans, getting followers. She was growing and growing.
And they
So
said in the documentary that the way that she started um, was at the malls, right? That she would go to
yeah,
the malls and she would have the girls, or have not have the girls, the mom would, her agent, quote unquote, would make a deal with the mall and be like, hey, can my daughter perform here? And we'll get some fans and give you a cut of the profits or whatever. And it started where it's like, Brittany, who's Brittany? To where a couple months later it was like, where is Brittany? Because she's performing. She's performing. So
yeah, yeah. She grew quick. So I don't know if we want to continue from there, Josh.
yeah, so they were, well, some people have been annoyed about this little fact. They did state that if she was a man, would it be a different situation than her current one? So, like, obviously there is that question that could come up, which takes me to the next point of a vulturous society, because this is a thing. Even though that statement was made, think about the years of media contact, of media attacks. These were coming from both sides of the spectrum, both the conservative side and the feminist side. So you have, here's your traditional people, right? Traditional people, and is set in their ways, who are coming after her. Then you have the feminists who are about women empowerment, who are coming after Britney Spears. Who does she have to go to? She has no one, and yet no one's apologizing for what they're doing. No, I think the only person that has apologized since the documentary is what's it called, Justin Timberlake, and I think one other person. But like, even what's her name, that famous reporter, or that famous morning journalist, the gosh, what was her name? She was on the Today Show. Well, she's in the
Oh,
documentary, and if you guys watch this, you'll see what I mean. Like, they tore this girl apart, asked her private stuff. Like, there was even one of the guys on there talking about, if you're sensitive, sorry, but they even talked about her breasts on TV.
yeah.
Like, this guy literally just asked the question, or said, everyone's talking about it, your breasts. Like, what is what's good about him? Like, and it's a different time.
Yeah, and that's crazy thing. I think that was in 2000, right? 2000s. I think that was the
Yes,
2000.
that wasn't. It's not like that was 40 years ago. In the 50s, it wasn't
Yeah,
60 years ago. This is now.
yeah. So I'm like, with that kind of stuff, and that's when it kind of made me really think about it. I said, dude, it just kind of shows where I was. I wasn't thinking about anything, I'd or even paid attention to anything. But the things that they would say, the how like the media was attacking her, and I'm just like, dude. And then after watching the documentary, I said, well, where was she turn? Like you said, nobody was really like on her side, if you can
Hmm.
say that. I mean, at least that's what I've got. That's what I got from the documentary.
And I think what's
But
crazy is that line or that statement from the paparazzi guy where he was just like, we got the money shots that we needed. Like, in the beginning, Britney needed us and we needed Britney. And if we got the money shot, we took it home, we got paid, whatever. And the thing was is, or he said, because the question came up, how can you look at somebody spiraling out of control and not care? And I think his response was that everybody loves looking at other people's downfall. Everybody loves looking into the lives of everybody else instead of dealing with their own lives, right? So that's
yeah,
kind of like the thing. That was sad too.
that was the paparazzi guy that got his car beaten up by the umbrella, right?
Oh yeah, which
That was
is
him. Was
funny.
that him?
That was
That was him,
him.
guy,
That
right?
was
Yeah,
him. Yeah, like the way that, and then the way how they handled it all, and all that. It's like, dude, you got a payday. Go fix your truck. Like, don't. Like, I don't. First
yeah,
off, I don't even know why he was on there. Money grab. That's probably
yeah,
why. But
yeah.
I don't know.
But at the same time, he was. I mean, I get it um, as a business standpoint. You have the guy who actually got that shot. You
Mm,
hit- you get to hear his thought process on what it is. I mean, it didn't really seem like he was like really remorseful. He
yeah,
would just
just
kind
that
of
he was there to do a job.
yeah. But I mean, it didn't seem like he. I don't know. I can't really say, but I mean, he was just talking about all he wanted to do was get the money shot, and that's it. You
Hmm.
know. And he's like, yeah, they messed up the car. He's like, but that's when he got that shot, the famous photo of her. When she was after she had went bald or after
Yeah,
she shaved her head and then she just went crazy. But at the same time, I mean, wouldn't you though? Wouldn't you get so upset, like so mad? Like I would. I don't know if is a paparazzi as crazy as it was back then. I'm sure it is,
I'm
but I
sure it
mean,
is. I'm sure it
yeah, but
is.
I mean, you couldn't get out of the door, you couldn't walk to your house, you couldn't
Hmm.
do. I mean, especially since she was so talked about.
Like,
Every.
anything that wasn't private property, they had access
Mhm.
to. Like, they could
Yeah,
be on.
yeah, like they were in the gas station and just it's crazy. I would have been not I'm not saying I would bash the car, but I mean, I can definitely see why she reacted that. Why people, not even just Britney, why these celebrities would react that way because it just gets annoying. Always constantly having people taking photos of you. I
Yeah.
totally get why someone can get pushed to that point. Doesn't necessarily mean they're crazy. It just means you've literally pushed them to that point to
Well, I
get
mean,
there.
dude, she got a threat from the governor's wife, right? She got a threat
Oh
from the
god.
governor's
Yeah.
wife, basically saying, "I'd kill her. Like, if I had a gun and had the opportunity to kill her, I'd kill her." Like, who the heck? What kind of media source allows a governor's wife to say that on live television
Mhm.
and let the world be okay with it? Like,
Yeah.
and that person, again, conservative, traditional, doesn't get any lash or blowback from it, yet it all goes on to Britney. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and what I think the reasoning behind that was because she had a teenage daughter and she didn't want her daughter to be dancing in the hallways like
To be
that.
dancing to
Yeah,
"Oops, I Did It Again,"
yeah, exactly.
literally. But yet all these little girls are dancing to WAP. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
sorry, bro. Like, that's, I'd rather have them dancing to "Oops, I Did It Again" than to that.
Yeah. Well, then again, I think it's gotten so much worse
It
nowadays,
has it. Yeah, it
especially with
has.
like talk. I mean, yeah. I mean, we don't even got to get into that, but I
No.
mean, yeah. But I mean, still, put it this way: it's a lot worse now. But you have a governor saying on live TV that she would take Brittany out because she doesn't want her to be a role model for her daughter like that. I mean, I get the fact, you don't want your kids to be being raised or doing things that certain celebrities do. I totally get that, but it doesn't mean you outright want to say you're going to kill them or you
Right.
want to. That's just crazy. And talking about that, what really surprised me um, is um, how, Jeopardy when I was watching it. Right, we talked about the paparazzi.
Oh, and
Uh,
Family Feud.
yes, was it? Wait, was it Family Feud or
Yeah,
Jeopardy?
Family Feud, the one where they did like a list of things that Britney went crazy on or
You're right.
something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. I think I put Jeopardy. I meant Family Feud. My bad. So so yeah. So what? Yeah, a list. Oh, give me a list of everything that went crazy that Britney did that she was crazy. And I'm just like, dude, imagine if that was me.
I'd go
It
crazy
would.
too.
I'd go. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, like we mentioned, it just I see it made everybody was kind of out for her. Nobody was really asking, if she needed the help. Kind of sucks.
But that's kind of like real life now. Like you have a
Yeah.
lot of people who could be going through something, and then instead of saying, how is so and so, they say, what's wrong with so and so, and then start judging. Like that's
Yeah.
just, I mean, that's been the same story. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's how the media was painting her to be. That's how the media was like attacking her. Yeah, she did some stuff that was out there kind of definitely out there, But I mean, do you think it was justified, the things that she did based on how she was being pushed? For example, I'll kind of go through a timeline really briefly, kind of what quote unquote what caused the conservatorship. And I found this online, and it just talks about, in 2006 there was photos of Brittany driving with her son on her lap. So basically, the kid probably didn't have a seatbelt on,
Yeah.
not in a car seat, definitely not safe, right? Um, and in April, I was in February, and then in April of 2006, her son falls off of the chair at home, and she gets questioned by family services. And then February 14th of '07, she checks into a rehab, and then she checks out the next day. So it's slowly just getting worse, right? But it started like around 2006, and then in February 16th, '07, shaves off all her hair. And then in October of 2007, that's when she loses full custody of her kids. And in January 2008, she was committed to the psychiatric ward. And I think all that kind of led up to the conservatorship. What made the court decide, hey, we're going to grant this conservatorship to and all her estate and money to her dad. But I think there was also a lawyer, right? That was part of it as well. It was not
Dude,
just
yeah, it was the lawyer. Well, because that's the thing. In this conservatorship, talking about conservatorships are there, like it was mentioned, to protect the conservatee, right? It's meant to protect somebody. This conservatorship, it's literally stated. It stated that this conservatorship is like it's a business platform. It's not just a regular conservatorship. What did they call it though? Do you remember what they actually called
it's
it?
a profit business. I think that's exactly what they said.
A profit business or a
A profit
for-profit
business.
conservatorship, right? Something
Yeah,
like
I
that.
don't remember the exact term, but basically, I think didn't the lawyer put in a request so they can get more money themselves since it's becoming a
Yes.
business. It's becoming more lucrative.
Right.
Is that the word they used?
Right.
I
That
think that is the word they used.
because the thing is that people again aren't understanding the ins and outs of it. Is every single person in that family that's in that immediate family has a lawyer, including Brittany herself.
Hmm.
Not only is the family getting paid from the estate, the lawyers are getting paid from the family, which that money comes from where? The estate.
The estate.
So as long as Brittany is living and breathing, they all get a paycheck. The lawyers, the family members, and then what did the brother was interviewed and he was just like, I don't know what's going on over there, but I just check my mailbox and I get a check.
Yeah. Did he say
Like,
that? Did he?
no, but that's
No. Yeah.
that's what he's thinking.
Yeah. 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 And I don't know. It's like if that's your own sister, how do you not know?
How do you not
You
know what's
know?
going on, dude? Like,
Yeah. And then it just there was a lot of shady stuff that was brought out in the documentary. And
and
I'm
that
just like,
but
and
that
then
lawyer that you were talking about, he
mhm.
quit.
Yeah.
He quit.
Yeah. So what was it? There was something that was requested from Britney, or something happened. I don't. I forget what they mentioned exactly, but there was a line of a chain of events. Something was done requested in the court, and then they were thinking about it, and then all of a sudden he quits. So I felt like made it seem
I
like something
think the
pushed him to
lawyer
quit.
thought, yeah, exactly. I think the lawyer felt like unethical at that point. Like
Yeah,
he's just
probably.
like, you know what? Like I don't want to get my hands tied up in this anymore. I'm just gonna take my payday and just leave because, like, who knows what this will turn into? Like, here's
Hmm.
this poor girl, and I'm fairly certain he already knows because the last thing about this, I think it was back in, was it 18? I think it was 2018, wasn't it? When it was her stint in Vegas, or was it 2017? I think it was 2017. Her stint in Vegas, where she got like her live show, and it was
I think it was. I think it was 17.
17. Yeah, because I remember I wanted to go and see it because it was like she was
Hmm.
coming back out of retirement or whatever,
Yeah.
and performing. So here she is, this still young girl who is still able to perform, still able to make music, make money. She would have made, or because she did have a show at first before they actually were going to make it
Hmm.
permanent. She was making $1 million a week, $1 million
Yeah.
a week, and then you have the conservatorship, which ruled the finances. She was getting 1.5% of that. So she was getting 15 grand a week out of a million. And then those millions were just piling up into her estate, which is paying out her family.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, I'm me, a simpleton, would say that $15,000 a week ain't too shabby.
Shoot.
That's not too
Yeah, I'll take
shabby.
it. Yeah.
But but out of the millions that you're making, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like for your hard work. So I understand why she's refusing, but at the same time, I can see why that lawyer would quit because he's probably
Yeah.
like, we're getting this girl can obviously perform. This girl can obviously think for herself. Like there's really no reason for her to be conserved. And if it were me, I'd be like, it's unethical, and I just want to walk
Yeah.
away.
What I thought about, because they use the term exactly in the documentary. They said, I think, did they say high functioning conservatee? It would be, which is
Yeah,
Britney, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So she's like super high functioning, meaning that she can do everything herself.
Which
I'm
what
like,
is that? Like that doesn't make any
yeah,
sense. How can you conserve someone who can make their own decisions?
yeah, like like there's a high functioning conservatee making all this money, doing all these shows, and it just like, wouldn't that mean that she can handle her stuff herself?
Right,
Or
right.
even maybe not even herself, give her um some responsibility, give her some more responsibility and be all right, let's see how she'll take it from there. And at least a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. That just was super what's the word I'm thinking about? It was ironic that she's super high functioning conservatee, but yet she can't make any decisions for herself. So
That's
I
ridiculous,
don't.
dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, most definitely, man. This the documentary kind of it was good. I enjoyed it. Maybe some people might like, oh, just Britney Spears, but when you really look into it, it a lot of crazy, interesting stuff happened, and it just kind of like
Dude, stuff like
it's
that gets me
it's
like
sad.
my blood boiling. Like
Yeah,
it really does because you sit there and it's like you can't do anything. You can't really say too much on it. You can't really act on it. And you're just like you just hope. You just hope and pray that
yeah,
like everything will turn out okay.
yeah, yeah. I mean, what can you do? It just and then it just kind of goes to show. I mean, I'm not trying to say, oh, it make this a whole grass is greener on the other side kind of
Yeah.
thing. But the whole, and as people have said it time and time again, the whole lifestyle of famous people, of the celebrities, is not always that great. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, and the fact that she's not doing any shows, anything like that, like I don't think she's doing anything right now, right?
No, she's refusing
Um,
to work because,
yeah,
and you see, that's another thing. I think that's the last card that she has to play. And a lot of people out there, even in the documentary, are just like, I don't know why she's refusing to work. I don't know why she's not wanting to come out for her fans. Blah blah blah. Think about it, people. Think about. She has said it, and she says it time and time again on the documentary. She wants to control her life. In every contract that she's ever gotten, she's always said, I want control. I want to be
hmm,
able to control what I want to do and I'll, perform when I want to perform, all that stuff, right? She has no control. And the only thing that she has left to control is the income. She may
Yeah.
not have access to that income, but she knows that her income is what's keeping everything going. So if she
Yeah.
stops performing and all these mansions that she has, whatever estates that she has, if she has to keep paying for it, right, then the money's going to dry out. That means all that money is going to go. And then what's the family left with? Nothing. And that's, I think that is the reason why she's refusing to work. I think that's the reason why.
I mean, I would. I'd refuse to work for that.
Just to like
Yeah.
let it just let it drain, let the money drain, and
Yeah.
let him be left with nothing at that point.
Yeah. I know because you and I watched the documentary together, well, at the same time, and then we were kind of talking back and forth when we were watching it, and you brought up um, the portion about the rose, right? The pink rose.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, dude. And I didn't even think about it until you brought that up. But I'll let you say that part. But the part that really like affected me too at the very end is just like they reached out to her to speak on this documentary, right? And they reach out to her so she can give her voice, her opinion, or what's going on. And they said they never got a response back. And it's like, and they said we don't know if she even got it. We didn't know if she wasn't like allowed to. So that's kind of crazy. That because everything's controlled. So what if it's like, oh, maybe she wanted to, but they didn't allow her to? You can't. And which is kind of crazy to think that you can't even participate in your own in a documentary. Well,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, I see why I wouldn't, because it's not painting the dad and the conservators
In
in a
any
good
kind of
light
good
either.
light,
In
yeah,
any kind of good light, yeah. But I mean, definitely definitely the documentary. I don't think it was non-biased. I think it was definitely for
yeah,
free Britney, the free Britney movement. Um, but I don't think I've seen anything that's like against freeing free Britney. I mean, I don't see why there would be. I mean,
yeah.
it's her money.
I don't see any
Yeah,
down like people against it. You know what I mean? I think
yeah,
even in our polls, even in the polls of should Britney be freed, and why or why not, no one was against it. Even our
yeah,
listeners, they were just like freer. Like, what's the problem? Like, even after doing just a little research, you're like, what is the problem? She's like you said, she's high functioning. What there should be no
yeah,
problem to have that person out, of
yeah,
that conservatorship.
yeah. So,
But and not even that. Like at the end, like you were talking about with that pink rose. At the end, there's a video clip of her. And she I think she's in the bathtub, but she's playing with this pink rose, and she's just like, it looks the pink rose, it looks pretty, it looks perfect, it looks, just perfect. And then she
mhm,
puts it in the water, brings it back up, and she crushes it, and she goes, but it's not a rose, it's just a pretty pink rose of soap. And she goes, fooled ya. And then it cuts. And
yeah,
it's like it's interesting because I think that goes into what every celebrity probably goes through. They're that pretty pink rose, but really it's just crumbling soap.
mhm,
That's all that they really are. They're just there to entertain you. And they can't live their
yeah,
own life because they have to be that pretty pink soap.
yeah.
So,
Sad, man. And even I know there was even a podcast that talked about, right, that they like try to dissect
oh
her
yeah,
post.
like her post,
Yeah.
every single Instagram
Hmm.
post. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 I think
So
they were the biggest reason for the Free Britney movement.
I think so too. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they would, and it's like I did look at some of the of her posts on Instagram. Some of them are kind of out there. You know what I mean? She
Hmm.
definitely
Oh,
does some
dude, and
interesting, crazy
I'm
things.
not gonna
Like,
lie, like she looked pretty scary sometimes, like doing like the spinning around with the dark eyes and all that stuff.
yeah.
I was like,
Oh yeah.
dude, yeah, yeah, she needs help.
Yeah.
And I saw those.
But you know what? Hey, she probably does need help. But you know what? I mean, if somebody would have given her help before, it might not have gotten to this point. Who knows?
If
You know?
if the media and all these other people didn't attack her the way that they did and constantly attacking her, man, the way that the world treats people, it's crazy. All for money, literally, all
Hmm.
for money. Like that's all in the documentary. If you guys and when you guys watch it, you'll notice like the term money shot and the term money for profit, all monetary phrases. How many
Hmm.
times it's thrown out there? It's
Yeah.
crazy. So
Yeah. It drives the world, man. Money.
money makes the world go round.
There's a what is it on Peach Dragon? I think Peach Dragon. There's a song that's like, oh, money, money, money by the pound.
Oh yeah.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. That's all I think about. So all in all, Josh, what do you think? Um, Free Britney or not? Is she crazy? Is she not crazy?
I don't think she's crazy. I think she became crazy. But I don't
Yeah.
think that it's like that anymore. I think that
Mhm.
she should be fine. Get that psych eval. I mean, dude, the courts are saying she's high functioning. Free Britney. Free
Yeah.
Britney. There's
There you go.
no reason for it.
It's a good documentary. I recommend it.
It really is. Like I love
Yeah.
documentaries. I
Me
love
too.
watching those things and dissecting them and seeing what they're all
Yeah.
about. Except for when they make me feel this way, which all of them basically do.
They do, man. They have a way of just like getting to you.
Getting into your heart, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you know what? Speaking of documentaries, have you seen Making a Murderer on Netflix?
I started it. I haven't. I'm not. I mean, when I say started, I think I'm
Like in season one somewhere?
like in episode one.
Oh, I see, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like
because dude, like that one. Okay, so full disclosure, I watched the first season, and I was dating Simone at the time, and I watched the first season, and I was like, by the end of it, dude, the last episode, I literally teared up, dude, and like I felt so down, and like I really felt like I was depressed because of seeing the end result of season one. And it's like you're just sitting there thinking to yourself, what are they going to do next? Because now you're caught up in real time. Like you're
Mhm.
just like, oh shoot, like there's only this season. Like you heard season two was coming out, but then you're just like, I need to know what's going on now. You find yourself like
Yeah.
in the ups and ups of what's going on. And but yeah, I try not to get involved with those documentaries that much anymore because I literally felt super horrible. I felt bad. Like nothing was nothing was working, bro.
Oh man. Yeah. We don't.
Oh.
We definitely don't want our fatties to feel depressed
Yeah, we
after.
do not want you guys to feel depressed like that. So
Uh, but I mean, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. It did make me a little. I did think, poor girl. I felt bad for her. I mean, but it's not gonna like make you depressed for the whole day or like
oh
you know
yeah,
what I mean.
no.
But it does. It is good. Eye opening. Kind of see something. Um.
So you're free Britney too, right?
Huh?
You're
I don't
free
know.
Britney too?
Hashtag free Britney.
Hashtag free Britney, baby.
Oh, you couldn't see it. You couldn't see. I did the hashtag with the
They're
hand.
you did it with one finger, dude. You went like this.
No, I did too. You didn't
Oh,
see
I
it.
didn't see your second finger. I didn't see your second one. I didn't see the second one. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we're on YouTube, guys. If you want to see our videos.
Oh, yep. There you go.
Because sometimes I forget. Sometimes I forget to narrate what we're doing because we can see each
We
other,
can
and
see each other.
now our fatties can see us too. But sometimes it just forget to say, and then we'll be laughing, and people that are just listening are completely lost because some of our fatties said, "Oh yeah, I was kind of lost." I'm like, "Oh, my bad." So
Yep.
yeah, definitely. You can watch us on YouTube. Also, subscribe to us.
And then you won't be lost.
Exactly. If you are lost, you too shall be found.
Oh my god. So anyway. Well, thank you to all of our listeners for tuning into the toxicity of the Phat Chat. We hope you enjoyed today's show, and a big thank you to everyone who's tuning in around the world. Tune in next episode for some catfish. Now, is that still a thing? So we'll go over that and how does it affect social media, and how does social media affect you personally. And as always, please send us your questions because we love to answer those. Please don't forget to like and subscribe on any platform you're listening on. If you like us, we'll give us a 5-star rating. Remember, we have our raffle going on where you have a chance to join us on one of our live shows and you can win a topic right. So if you win, we can talk about your topic on that live show. So how do you enter? Well, you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, go to our most recent post on Instagram, and tag 5 friends. You can post us on your stories and your feed. If you shout us out, we'll do the same. Remember, also respond to our polls because that too is a way how to enter into this raffle as well, which a lot of you guys are. So we thank you for that. And as always, thank you, Fatties, for tuning in. This is the Phat Chat signing off.
Bye.